Hey guys, this is what you're looking at, and today we got the review on the G36C brought to you by Airsoft Station. Hope you enjoy the video. Hey guys, make sure to like this video if G36C is one of your favorite guns to see out on the field or CQB. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you are a new viewer, and if you're interested in this gun at the end of the video, make sure to go to the link in the description to see this gun on airsoftstation.com. Okay, with what comes with the gun is your very basic stuff. This being Jin Gong, or JG as most of us know it. You're going to get everything you need out of the box to get this gun on the field. That includes the gun itself, one 470 round high cap magazine. As you see, I have two of them clamped together here to show you one of their many features. 3, an unjamming rod, which is just long enough for the barrel itself, so it's a pretty short unjamming rod. And 4, the 8.4 battery that is housed in the handguard of the gun itself. Besides that, you get the other features like the bottom rail, the folding stock, the top rail, and your front and rear sights that I'll go more into detail further on in this video. Starting off here, I really just wanted to give you a closer up look of the gun itself, just to show you a more high-def look of what this gun looks like. And to start it off here, this is the newer version of the G36C, as you can tell by the translucent magazine. So that's always cool because you get the little gearbox upgrades like the metal bushings instead of plastic bushings, and overall just a more sound gearbox if it wasn't already, as I thought the older versions was a pretty solid gun itself. Moving on to my first con that really sticks out the most is the stock. The older version, in my experience, did not have this problem. As you see, this still has that seam line, but it's a lot bigger than the last one, and in some spots you can almost see through the top part of the stock. So it just gives you that toyish feel of the gun, but it is sturdy, so that's all that matters. Moving on, I'm kind of showing off the modularity of the gun here, showing you the extended outer barrel, only a $14 piece, kind of expensive, but it gives you the option of putting on any silencers you want. You got the bottom rail right here, perfect for any bipod or foregrips, or even the HK style grenade launchers. I believe it's called the MGL36, correct me if I'm wrong. Even the magazines themselves are modular. As you can tell, we have the ambidextrous magazine release right here. Makes it great for left or right-handed shooters. Magazine comes right out. I'd say it's a hybrid of an M4 and an AK. Comes straight out the bottom like an M4, releases like an AK. Easiest way to think of it if you're not familiar with the G36. These magazines are really modular though, as they clamp together, as you just saw. It makes for really speedy reloads, and the fact that these high cap magazines already hold 450 rounds apiece, or 470 rounds apiece, when you have two of them together, that means you have 940 rounds ready to go. It's like having 3 high caps for your M4, and personally, 940 rounds is enough to get me through any speed game. So taking 2 mags out in the field, ready to speed load, and you really should have no problem as far as feeding with G36 style mags. So really cool. Moving on to the receiver itself, this gun is all plastic just like the real thing. Of course, this plastic isn't going to be the same quality of the actual gun, but it gives you that realistic weight. You have the metal gearbox, the real gun would have metal innards, so overall you get that solid feel for the gun. I put this gun on my scale without BBs in the mag, but a battery, no attachments, and this gun weighed at a flat 6 pounds. So that puts it right between most of your M4s. Some of them, like your combat machines, weigh a little bit less, and then the rest, like your heavy full metal body M4s, weigh up to and upwards of 10 pounds. So 6 pounds makes this an ideal gun for y'all fast runners in the field and for y'all speedy guys in CQB. So there's really no complaints all around with the externals of this gun, of course, besides the stock. Besides that though, this gun is really nice. The battery situation could be a little bit better, as a 9.6 nunchuck is the only manageable thing in here, even with mods. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking about the outside of the gun, and we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the performance of the gun. Okay guys, moving on to the performance and the internals of the G36 itself, having prior experience and some prior knowledge of the newer version of the G36 itself. Of course, you're going to have that full metal gearbox, you're going to have metal bushings, polycarb piston and piston teeth are also polycarbonate. Your piston head itself, generally with any JG, I find to have great compression. They always have a nice stretchy O-ring on them. When I have guns that I put JG pistons in, usually their FPS jumps from a greater compression. Nice little note there. I believe the piston is non-ported. Don't quote me to that though. And of course JG gears are always going to be good. At least, you know, as long as you're not running 500 FPS on them. I've had nothing but good experience with them. Y'all put in the comments below what y'all think of JG gears though. I'm sure Swell's going to have some, or Schwell's going to have some pretty nice comments of JG to say. Moving on from the internals now, let's talk about the accuracy and the chrono. Okay guys, a chrono and accuracy test is actually a separate video, but if y'all just want to hear the numbers, you've come to the right video on the G36. As far as 0.2 gram BBs, I was able to get 380 FPS. 345 FPS on 0.25 gram BBs and 800 rounds per minute or 13.17 rounds per second. You might see a little bit of video somewhere right here just to kind of recap on that, but if you want to see the video, it's probably uploaded before or after the review, which is this video. So make sure to go check the in-depth video on that. As far as accuracy is concerned, I used a smaller paper target for 50 and 75 feet, doing nothing but headshots at 50 feet with 0.25 gram BBs. I was able to hit the head every time. So that's roughly a 5 to 6 inch grouping, comparable size to the target I was using. And for 75 feet, I was doing nothing but chest shots, and I was able to hit every time with 0.25 BBs. So for those CQB situations, as long as you're aimed in your sight, you're gonna have no problem hitting your target. Going out to 125 feet, it was pretty much the same story. We went to an 80% hit percentage, so pretty much, you know, you're going to hit the target if you aim and shoot. Semi-auto, you might want to put a double tap on them, but full auto, any burst or 3 or higher, you're guaranteed to hit the target with 0.25 BBs and your gun sighted in. With that said, that is a really great performance for a JG clone. I gotta admit though, these G36 hop-ups tend to over-hop, and I plan to test some other hop-ups in the future in this gun as I am keeping it. So with that said, the gun's performance is probably the best for any JG out of the box, and you can hold me to that. Okay guys, you didn't think that was going to be the end of the video. I know I said I was done with externals, but I kind of wanted to keep my favorite features for last. As y'all know, I'm a nerd for functionality on a gun. I am more of like a, you know, practical player, but I like those little functional pieces. So like, you know, this, it's a $130 gun, but the hop-up, of course, the charging handle is ambidextrous. Your hop-up is inside of the gun. But the cool thing, a lot of people probably don't pay attention to, is that you can lock the bolt back. The ambidextrous bolt right here, all you got to do is push it into that gap, and your bolt will stay open for one finger operation of hop-up adjustability. So that's pretty cool. And then you can release it just like that. One thing I would say, if you're someone that wants to do that out in the field, it might help to cut this little ridge off the bottom of the top rail. It's up for you to decide. Even if you just Dremel off the slightest bit, it might make it easier for you to release that bolt. But as you see, one finger, no problem at all. Moving on to my next favorite feature is the folding stock. I usually don't use the folding stock, as I like to use 2 mags at the same time in the G36. And as y'all know, if you have your left mag in, your right mag's exposed on the right side, you can't fold the stock in. But the main reason why I like it is that it is very sturdy. The fact that it is foldable, if I am in the situation where I need to put it in a gun bag, or if I'm just going around a corner, I don't have time to pull my pistol out, I can slap that stock in real quick and use it as a foregrip or like a magwell extended grip. And on top of that, it's just overall really sturdy. When it's out, you can't even tell that, you know, it's not a full stock. I mean, either way, you cannot get the stock to wobble. Anyone with a JG G36 can attest to that statement. So overall, this gun is really good. And in my mind, any gun with HK style sights, either that be an MP5, either that be a G36, or some other HK Heckler and Koch or Heckler and Koch style guns out there, iron sights are always really good on these guns. You can look right down these sights and expect to hit the target every time. So that's really a good feature, but you know, you can't use a G36 without a 5.51 sight. You know, it's just all with a style. So that's what I use. I just use a 5.51 style red dot sight and a foregrip, and I'm ready to go. And it sits on this gun. The orange tip was glued on. I had to take it off with a table saw. So y'all out there that want to throw up something here right away, keep in mind that the orange tip is always glued on no matter which version of the G36 you get. And on top of that, you have to get this adapter to extend the outer barrel out just enough to be able to put on your other flash hiders or your silencers. In my case, I just put on a flash hider on the adapter. It gives it kind of its own look, just a little bit extended from what it would be. So that it's always cool to go a little bit different instead of always just throwing a silencer up there. With that said, guys, I gotta admit, this is probably one of my favorite guns. It was my second really good gun I had ever bought when I got into airsoft 3 years ago. And as far as, you know, pulling a gun out of its box that came from China and going out to a field and playing, I have to admit G36 is probably one of the best ways to go. So, you know, JG did a really good job at, you know, copying this gun from Tokyo Marui. And overall, I wouldn't mind taking this gun into any situation. Of course though, the thing you need to keep in mind, this is a JG gun. If you plan to take it into CQB, make sure to downgrade that spring. As you'll see in the future, I plan to throw an M95 spring in here to take down that FPS well under 350, but still over 300. Overall though, JG G36C is a really fun gun, and personally, I do nothing but 1 points on my G36s. You can fold that stock in and have no problem throwing it around your back and pulling your sidearm out. With that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review on the JG G36C. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to like this video, and if you are hyped to get this gun now, there will be a link in the description below to Airsoft Station where you can buy it. This has been a What You Looking At production, and I'm out.